Asha Degree, who disappears from her home literally in the middle of the night.
Every news truck from here to South Carolina.
Asha Degree disappeared in the middle of the night.
How big is this case?
It's massive. I mean, this case is way different than any other case, any other normal, even another missing persons case.
Not gonna hold these things against them. We can't bring that back, but we have to move forward.
Asha was actually considered Shelby's sweetheart to a lot of people.
We know somebody knows something is worse than death, because at death you got closure.
Anyone who may have any piece of information, no matter how small, is asked to call those phone numbers.
February 14th, 2000, Valentine's Day. A 9-year-old girl packed her backpack in the middle of the night, walked out of her family's home, and disappeared into a violent rainstorm. Multiple drivers saw her walking alone on a dark highway at 4 a.m. When one turned around to help her, she ran into the woods and was never seen again. Her name was Asha Degree, and for 25 years, her disappearance has been one of America's most haunting mysteries. But in September 2024, everything changed. The FBI raided multiple properties. DNA evidence surfaced. Text messages were uncovered. And for the first time, investigators revealed they believe Asha was murdered and her body was concealed. Even more shocking, a witness came forward claiming that years ago, at a party, they heard someone confess to killing Asha Degree. After a quarter century of silence, this case is finally breaking open. But the question remains, why did a shy, obedient 9-year-old girl walk into a storm in the middle of the night? And who took her? This is the story of Asha Degree, Shelby's sweetheart, the girl who walked into the darkness and never came home. To understand why Asha's disappearance makes no sense, you need to know who she was. Asha Jacquia Degree, born August 5, 1990, a 4th grader at Falston Elementary School in Shelby, North Carolina. She was 4 feet 6 inches tall, 60 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. She had a small mole on her left cheek and wore glasses. Asha came from a close, loving family. Her parents, Harold and Aquila Degree, had married on Valentine's Day in 1988. Harold worked as a dock loader. Aquila built pianos at a factory. They raised Asha and her older brother O'Brien in a quiet suburban neighborhood in a home centered around faith, family, and routine. The Degrees were protective parents. Asha and her brother let themselves in after school, did their homework, and waited for their parents to come home. No unsupervised outings, no late-night activities, no reason to ever leave the house alone at night. Asha was shy, quiet, a star point guard on her youth basketball team. She loved reading, especially Dr. Seuss books. She was responsible, obedient, the kind of child who would never disobey her parents. Which is why what happened on February 14th, 2000 defies all logic. The weekend before Asha disappeared seemed completely ordinary. Friday, February 11th, 2000, Cleveland County schools were closed, so Asha and O'Brien spent the day at their aunt's house. That evening, both kids went to basketball practice at their school. Saturday, February 12th, Asha's basketball team played their first game of the season. For the first time, they lost. Asha had fouled out. She was devastated. Her parents saw her crying with her teammates afterward. But by the time they watched her brother's game later that day, she seemed fine. She'd gotten over it. Or had she? Sunday, February 13th, the family went to church from a relative's house, then returned home. Around 8 p.m., both children went to bed in the room they shared. Everything was normal. Everything was routine. There was no fight, no punishment, no reason for Asha to be upset or scared. At 2:30 a.m., Harold Degree checked on his children. Both were sound asleep in their beds. 4 hours later, Asha was gone. Monday, February 14th, 2000. Around 6:30 a.m., Aquila Degree went to wake her children for school. O'Brien was in his bed. Asha's bed was empty. There were no signs of forced entry, no broken windows, no disturbed locks. The family dog hadn't barked. Her brother, sleeping just feet away, heard nothing. But Asha was gone, and so was her backpack. Aquila and Harold immediately called 911. Within hours, search teams swarmed the area. Police dogs tried to pick up a scent trail, but found nothing. There were no footprints, no clues, no explanation. Then 2 separate witnesses came forward with a chilling report. Around 4 a.m. that morning, 2 truck drivers had been traveling south on Highway 18, about a mile from the Degree home. Both reported seeing a young black girl walking alone on the shoulder of the road. In the pouring rain, in complete darkness, one driver was so concerned he turned his truck around and drove back to check on her. As his headlights approached, the girl left the roadside and ran into the woods. She disappeared into the trees. That was the last confirmed sighting of Asha Degree. But here's what makes this even more disturbing. Investigators found some of Asha's belongings along Highway 18. A pencil, a hair bow, a candy wrapper, items from her backpack scattered along the route she had walked. She had been there. She had been walking voluntarily, and then she vanished. The search for Asha Degree became one of the largest missing child investigations in North Carolina history. Hundreds of volunteers combed the woods. Helicopters scoured the area. Divers searched nearby bodies of water. The FBI joined the investigation within days. The case appeared on America's Most Wanted and the Oprah Winfrey Show. Billboards with Asha's face went up along Highway 18. A NASCAR driver featured her image on his race car. The reward money climbed higher and higher, first $25,000, then $45,000, eventually reaching $100,000. Over 5,000 tips poured in. Every single one led nowhere. Then, in August 2001, 17 months after Asha disappeared, construction workers made a discovery that would haunt investigators for decades. They were working on a construction site along Highway 18 in Burke County, about 30 miles north of Shelby. Buried in the dirt, wrapped in 2 black plastic garbage bags, they found Asha's backpack. It was still packed. Inside, clothing, a Dr. Seuss book titled McElligot's Pool that had been checked out from her elementary school library, and a New Kids on the Block concert t-shirt. But here's the critical detail. Some of the items in that backpack didn't belong to Asha. Her family had never seen them before. Someone else had put them there. The backpack had been deliberately buried, hidden, concealed. And for 23 years, investigators had no idea who had buried it. Until 2024, September 2024. After nearly 25 years of silence, the case exploded back into the headlines. Advances in DNA technology had allowed investigators to re-examine evidence from Asha's buried backpack. 2 DNA samples were found. One belonged to a man named Russell Bradley Underhill, who had died in 2004. The other belonged to a member of a local family, the Dedmans, Roy and Connie Dedman, a Cleveland County couple who lived near Shelby in 2000. They had 3 daughters, Annalee, Lizzie, and Sarah, who were teenagers when Asha disappeared. DNA analysis revealed that a hair sample found on clothing in Asha's backpack matched Annalee Dedman Ramirez, who was just 13 years old in 2000. On September 10th and 11th, 2024, the FBI executed multiple search warrants on properties owned by the Dedman family. They seized computers, cell phones, and most significantly, a green 1964 AMC Rambler. For years, investigators had been searching for a 1970 S-era green car, a Ford Thunderbird or Lincoln Mark IV, that witnesses reported seeing near Highway 18 the morning Asha disappeared. The AMC Rambler seized from the Dedmans had very similar features to that vehicle. In search warrant documents released in September 2024, investigators revealed something they had never publicly stated before. They believe Asha Degree was a victim of homicide, and her body was concealed. But the most shocking revelation was yet to come. September 18th, 2024. 1 week after the FBI raids, a man walked into the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office with a story that would change everything. He told investigators that back in the mid-2000s, when he was in his 20s, he used to go to bars and house parties with the Dedmon daughters. At one particular party, he witnessed something he would never forget. Lizzie Dedmon, now Lizzie Foster, who was 16 years old when Asha disappeared, was at the party. She was heavily intoxicated, sobbing, barely able to stand, and then, according to the witness, she said it, "I killed Asha Degree." The witness claimed that Lizzie's sister Sarah immediately grabbed her, became stern and angry, and told her to shut. The witness said the behavior was not normal for them, and he was 100% positive about what he heard. He took a polygraph test. He passed. In February 2025, investigators seized cell phones from Roy Dedmon and two of his daughters, Lizzie Foster and Sarah Capel. Text messages revealed conversations between the sisters after the FBI raids. Foster to Capel: "The theory is, I did it. Accident. Covered it up." Capel to Foster: "They think it's our shirt. It's not her shirt. I don't remember that shirt. I'm scared, though. Dad is probably going to be a huge suspect." Foster to her ex-husband: "This is going to get nothing but worse." When investigators asked Lizzie Foster to take a polygraph test in February 2025, she was found to be deceptive when asked if she was concealing information. As of now, no arrests have been made. The Dedmon family, through their attorney, denies any involvement in Asha's disappearance. But investigators continue to analyze the seized evidence, and many believe an arrest is imminent. So, what really happened to Asha Degree on Valentine's Day 2000? The prevailing theory is this: Asha's basketball loss on Saturday upset her more than anyone realized. Perhaps someone, possibly connected to the Dedmon family, reached out to her, offered to help her practice, or told her to meet them for a surprise. Asha packed her backpack, snuck out of her house around 3:30 a.m. and walked to a predetermined meeting spot on Highway 18. She was picked up in a green car. Whatever happened next, whether an accident or something more sinister, ended with her death. Her body was concealed somewhere it has never been found. Her backpack was buried 30 miles away, wrapped in garbage bags to hide the evidence. For 25 years, someone has kept that secret. But DNA doesn't lie. Text messages don't lie. And confessions, even drunken ones at parties, don't lie. Asha Degree's mother, Ikila, still believes her daughter is alive. "I'm not crazy enough to think a 9-year-old can disappear into thin air without somebody knowing something," she said. She's right. Somebody knows. And after 25 years, that somebody is finally about to be held accountable. Asha would be 35 years old today. She should be celebrating birthdays, building a life, raising a family. Instead, she's frozen in time. Forever 9. Forever Shelby's sweetheart. What do you think happened to Asha Degree? Was it an accident that was covered up, or something more sinister? Do you believe the Dedmon family is involved? Drop your theory in the comments below. Subscribe to Vanished Mysteries for more cold cases that are finally being solved. And if you haven't watched our Springfield 3 investigation, that's another case where evidence was buried and families are still searching for answers. The truth is coming. After 25 years, Asha Degree will finally get justice. If cases with buried evidence intrigue you, check out our Springfield 3 video. 3 women vanished from a locked house, and investigators believe they may be buried beneath a hospital parking garage. Do you think this was an accident or murder? Comment below, subscribe to Vanished Mysteries for cases that demand justice, and watch our Springfield 3 investigation, another case where the answers might be buried waiting to be found.